Good afternoon, everybody. You are listening to Lake Stevens Vikings Varsity Baseball. My name is Payne Patchett, and this is game number 14 of the 2018 Varsity Baseball season as the Lake Stevens Vikings look to close out and sweep the Monroe Bearcats at Monroe High School. The Lake Stevens Vikings are playing their first full game without one of their star players, Connor Bardew, who left Friday's game due to a shoulder injury after hitting a double in the bottom of the first inning. But Lake Stevens, what many people don't know about them is that there's a bunch of other players that could take Connor's place, both as a team leader and also on the field and, well, technically off the field. It's the same thing as being a team leader. For example, starting pitching for the Lake Stevens Vikings, instead of Will Wentz, who will be pitching tomorrow in the first conference game between Lake Stevens and Glacier Peak. Today is April 24th, 2018. It'll be tomorrow on April 25th. Or Lake Stevens will play Glacier Peak. Will Wentz will start tomorrow, and today it'll be Justin Troya, who a couple of starts ago had a pretty good day against Kamiak, throwing 6 1/3, striking out 8 batters, and getting his record up to over 500. Speaking of which, it's still over 500, 2 wins and 1 loss. He brought his ERA down from 4.08 to a 3.63 ERA. He has thrown 21 and 2/3 innings, allowing 20 hits, allowing 11 runs, walking 19 batters, and striking out 13 batters this year. The Lake Stevens Vikings, they're currently on a 2-game win streak. They had a couple huge wins. First one at Mount Vernon as their last road game, beating them 1-0. And then back last Friday as the Vikings beat Monroe by a score of 2-1 on an RBI walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th inning by Brendan Miller. Monroe, currently in the middle of a stretch here. They won their first 4 conference games to bring them up to a 4-0 record on top of the standings alongside Cascade, Jackson. But ever since then, they've lost their last 5, dating back to a couple of weeks ago when they beat and swept the Kamiak Knights here at Monroe High School by the score of 8-3. When we come back, it'll be the top of the first inning. It'll be Monroe, who will be starting on defense first, and the first 3 batters in the lineup for the Lake Stevens Vikings, who are coming into this game with a 6-7 record. It'll be Ben Pizer, Theron Perkins, and Trey Long. It'll be the new first 3 with the absence of Connor Bardew. We'll be right back. You're listening to Lake Stevens Vikings Varsity Baseball. And we are now into the top of the first inning. Lake Stevens coming up to the plate first. The starting pitcher for the Monroe Bearcats is number 7, Ryan Witt. He's coming into this game with an undefeated record of 3-0 with a 2.62 ERA. This is his 7th game and his 7th start. He'll face off against the leadoff hitter, left fielder number 11, Ben Pizer. And Ben with the highest batting average of any batter in the lineup with a 409 average, 18 hits, and 44 at-bats. And the first pitch from the senior right-hander, Ryan Witt, is high and inside, ball 1. Ryan Witt in 26 2/3 innings. He has allowed 17 hits, 10 earned runs. He has walked 16 batters, and he has struck out 24. And the 1-0 from Ryan. Strike 1, looking at one. That one knee-high towards the senior left-hander, Ben Pizer. The 409 batting average with 4 RBIs. He is 4 for 4 in stolen bases. The 1-1. Check swing, ball 2. He has been hit once. He has scored 14 runs, a team-high 14 runs. He has scored he has hit 2 doubles, he has hit 2 triples, and he has walked 6 times. The 2-1 from Ryan. Strike 2 looking. That one hit in the bottom part of the strike zone. And the lineup for Lake Stevens, it'll be Ben Pizer, Theron Perkins, and Trey Long. That will be the new 1-2-3 order with the absence of Connor Bardew. Theron Perkins also the new third baseman. The 2-2 pitch. A foul ball hitting the fence behind home plate. With Theron Perkins back in the lineup, as at the start of the year he was the starting shortstop, but after he got injured, Brandon Miller got in the rotation and Hunter Zalesko moved to shortstop. And the 2-2 pitch is inside for a strike 3 call. Ben Pizer reacting to that pitch. It looked like it was a ball 3, but it'll end as the first out in the top of the first inning. Brings up the starting third baseman, number 6, Theron Perkins. The junior is in the number 2 spot for the first time this season. First pitch from Ryan. Hard hit ball. This one going into left center field. Back goes Connor Spaulding. He is back at the warning track and will make the catch right near the wall in left field for the second out. And it will retire Theron. It'll bring up the number 3 hitter, the starting catcher, the junior number 5, Trey Long. With a .353 batting average, 12 hits and 34 at-bats with 4 RBIs. and is 3 for 3 on stolen bases. The lineup for the Lake Stevens Vikings, the first three, Pizer, Perkins, and Long. In the middle of the order is Will Wentz at first base, Christian LaPierre at center field, and Tanner Lind at right. The first pitch from Ryan Witt. Strike one looking right down the middle. And then the 7-8-9, it is the shortstop Hunter Zalesko, the second baseman Brendan Miller, who is in the 8-hole after being in the 9 spot on Friday, and Bryce Befford, who will be the designated hitter. And this one will hit Trey Long square on the bat. He'll toss the bat towards the on-deck hitter, Trey Long, and he'll walk over the first base. That didn't sound good. It'll be Lake Stevens getting a base runner on with 2 outs, and that was above the jersey number, square on the back. It'll be the third time this year that Trey will get plunked, and the Vikings have a runner on first for the cleanup hitter number 34, Will Wentz. First pitch from Ryan, inside, ball 1. Defensively for the Monroe Bearcats on the mound is Ryan Witt, and behind the plate is Keegan Veely once again. In the infield, it'll be Grant Davis at third base, Andrew Haight at shortstop, playing for Ryan Witt, who is at shortstop on Friday, Morgan Granich at second base, and the freshman Ryan Lynch at first. Hard hit ball, this one going to center field. Back goes Luke Klein a little bit, and he will make the catch to end the top of the first inning. No out, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 runner left on. Lake Stevens, he couldn't get anything in that first inning, even after a 2-out hit by pitch to Trey Long. Now it'll be Monroe's turn. They'll get a crack at the bat in the bottom of the first inning against Justin Troya. He'll face off against the third baseman Grant Davis, the catcher Keegan Veely, and the center fielder Luke Klein as we go into the bottom of the first inning. Lake Stevens nothing, Monroe coming up. And we are now back into the bottom of the first inning. Monroe coming up to the plate for the first time today. It'll be Justin Troya on the mound for the Lake Stevens Vikings, facing off against the starting third baseman number 18, Grant Davis. And Grant Davis, he was 1 for 3 with a single in the fourth inning and walked twice back on Friday. First pitch of ball 1 upstairs. Justin Troya to bring up his season stats again. This is his 7th game, and he is starting in his 7th game as well. 2 wins and 1 loss with an ERA of 3.63. The 1-0 by Justin. Strike one looking in the inside part of the strike zone. 21 2/3 innings. He's allowed 20 hits, has allowed 11 earned runs, has walked 19 batters, and he has struck out 13 batters. And Grant Davis with a .462 batting average leads the team. The 1-1 pitch from Justin. Strike 2 looking in the bottom part of the strike zone. Really good, a couple pretty nice pitches there by the senior left-hander. It'll be the first 3 batters, Grant Davis, the third baseman, the catcher Keegan Veely, and the center fielder Luke Klein. The 1-2 by Justin, ground ball. This one going to the shortstop Zalesko, who drops it, throws to first, and gets Grant Davis in time for the first out in the bottom of the first inning. He'll bring up the starting catcher Keegan Veely. And Keegan Veely, he is 1 for 3. He was hit a single in the 9th inning, but got out on a fielder's choice. He was walked in the first inning and scored Monroe's only run in Friday's game. Got on base on an error by Hunter in the second, struck out swinging, and flew out to right. First pitch, ball 1 in the bottom part of the strike zone. Keegan Veely, a .375 batting average, 15 hits and 40 at-bats with 11 RBIs. He is 4 for 6 in stolen bases. He has been hit twice. He has been walked 14 times and scored 15 runs. This one, a 1-0 pitch. This one going to Hunter once again at shortstop, and he'll make the throw once again to the first baseman, Will Wentz, for the second out. And he'll bring up the number 3 hitter, the center fielder, number 5, Luke Klein, with a .400 batting average, 18 hits in 45 at-bats. He has scored 17 runs, has hit 3 doubles, 2 triples. He has been hit twice, and he has been walked 11 times, and he is 7 for 11 in stolen bases. The 7 stolen bags lead the team. First pitch, a foul ball goes. He'll hit the backstop behind home plate. The lineup for the Monroe Bearcats, Grant Davis, Keegan Veely, and Luke Klein. The right fielder, Efton Chisholm, at the cleanup spot. The pitcher, Ryan Witt, and the designated hitter, Gordon Davis, who will be hitting for the second baseman, Morgan Granich. And the 0-1 by Justin. Inside, strike 2 looking. It'll be the first baseman, Ryan Lynch, who will be hitting in his 3rd game and playing in his 11th overall this season. In the 7th spot, the left fielder, Connor Spauman, and the shortstop, Andrew Haight, number 9. He was a pinch hitter in Friday's game. And the 0-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Ball 1. And the defensive lineup for Lake Stevens, Justin Troya on the mound. Behind the plate is Trey Long. And the infield is Theron Perkins playing on the hot corner for the first time this year. Hunter Zalesko at shortstop. Brendan Miller at second. Will Wentz at first. The 0-2. Strike 3 called. And that will end the inning. Justin Troya a 1-2-3. Bottom of the first inning highlighted by a strikeout to end it. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. It is no score at the end of one. Ryan Witt will face off against the 5, 6, and 7 batters of Christian LaPierre, Tanner Lind, and Hunter Zalesko, the senior, junior, and sophomore in the 5, 6, and 7 spot. No score, top of the second inning. And we are now back in the top of the second inning. No score. Ryan Witt back on the mound through a pretty good first inning, with the only blemish being the hit to Trey Long. 3 balls, 8 strikes on 11 pitches. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on. And Ryan Witt facing off against the number 5 hitter, the starting center fielder, number 21, Christian LaPierre. And the windup in the first pitch. Ball 1 just gets outside. LaPierre, a .206 batting average, 7 hits and 34 at-bats with 7 RBIs, and is 4 for 4 on stolen bases this year. It's been hit a team high 6 times. The 0-1, or the 1-0. Low and inside, ball 2, has scored 5 runs, hit a double, hit a triple, and has been walked 5 times this year. And the 2-0 by Ryan. Chopper, this one going past the first base line, and fielded by the first baseman Ryan Lynch as he walks towards the Monroe dugout. The outfield for the Monroe Bearcats, left field Connor Spaulding, center field Luke Klein, and the right fielder is Efton Chisholm III. Ryan Witt getting the sign from the catcher Keegan Veely, the windup in the 2-1. Fly ball, that one hits the fence, 2-2 count. And the reserves for the Lake Stevens Vikings, Jacob Wardla, Jacob Gordon, Alec Ibachuan, Tommy Lindgren, Tate Brust, Ethan Jansen, and Xander Fogel. We saw him pitch in the past couple of games, getting wins in both games for Lake Stevens. The 2-2, a 1 hopper to the catcher inside, ball 3. So it'll be Christian LaPierre, Tanner Lind, and Hunter Zalesko. And the payoff pitch is high and outside for a ball 4. Lake Stevens getting another base runner on in the top of the second inning. Brings up number 20, Tanner Lind, the starting right fielder. He is a .212 batting average, just like Christian, has 7 hits, but in 33 at-bats, he has 3 RBIs, and is 5 for 5 on stolen bases, tied for the team lead with Connor Bardew. And the first pitch by Ryan, ball 1, just gets outside. He has scored 5 runs, he has hit a double, and he's been walked once. Tanner, when he is not in the lineup, he has mainly been used as a pinch runner for either the starting pitcher or Trey Long, the catcher. And the 1-0. Hard hit ball, this one going straight to the center fielder, Luke Klein, who will make the catch, and Christian LaPierre going back to first for the first out. They'll bring up the sophomore shortstop, the number 7 hitter, number 22, Hunter Zalesko, a .257 average, 9 hits and 35 at-bats, a 7 RBIs, and is also 5 for 5 on stolen bases. He has hit 3 doubles, he's been walked 4 times, hit 3 times, and has scored 7 runs. Witt throw to first, not in time. Lake Stevens wearing their road black uniforms, with the white pants, the black hat, black cap, and the black jerseys, while Monroe wears their home white uniforms, white pants, white jerseys, and black caps. Throw to first, not in time. It's the same cap as the Bearcats wore when they traveled to Lake Stevens back on Friday. Ryan Witt looking over at first base. And the first pitch, hard hit ball. This one going into left center field is Klein and Spaulding both going back to get it right near the wall. And once again, it'll be caught by the center fielder, Luke Klein, in the gap in left center field. Christian moving back to first base again, and it'll bring up the starting second baseman, number 2, Brendan Miller, the hero in Friday's game, who had a walk-off single just past the glove of a diving Ryan Witt into left field, scored Hunter Zalesko from second in the bottom of the 9th inning, game tied at 1, and the Vikings ended up winning that game by the score of 2-1. First pitch by Ryan, inside, ball 1. Lake Stevens currently on a 2-game winning streak after losing in a heartbreaker 10-8 at home to Mount Vernon. Pitch, hard hit ball. This one going to Klein again. Back goes Klein a little bit. This one once again in the warning track. Lake Stevens, they have the power, but do they have enough? That is the question. And after allowing a leadoff walk to Christian Lampierre, Ryan Witt throws a 1-2-3 second inning, leaving a runner on first base, all on flyouts to the center fielder Luke Klein. No runs, no hits, no errors, one runner left on. In the bottom of the second inning, Justin Troya coming back on the mound, facing off against the middle hitters, Efton Chisholm, the right fielder. His counterpart, the pitcher Ryan Witt, and the designated hitter Gordon Davis in the 4-5-6 spot in the bottom of the second inning. No score between Lake Stevens and Monroe. And we are now back into the bottom of the second inning. Lake Stevens once again leaving a runner on, and Monroe has a chance to get some runs on the board, but they have to get past Justin Troya. Starting with the onslaught will be the cleanup hitter, right fielder number 1, Efton Chisholm the third. And the first pitch from Justin, it'll be a one-hopper to the starting catcher, Trey Long, ball 1. The outfield for the Lake Stevens Vikings at left field is Ben Pizer, center field Christian Lampierre, and at right field is Tanner Lind. Efton Chisholm with a .326 batting average and is tied for the team lead in RBIs with 15. Check swing, 1-0 count. Did not go for a ball 2. Efton Chisholm 2 for 4 in stolen bases. Again, it's both Chisholm and Klein. They both have the team lead in RBIs with 15. Efton Chisholm with 8 walks. He has hit 4 doubles. He has hit 1 triple. And the 2-0 pitch outside, ball 3. He has been hit twice and has scored 12 runs for the Bearcats. He is also a very well-known wide receiver for the varsity football team, especially back last fall. Monroe had a pretty good year in football. The 3-0 pitch, this one in the top part of the strike zone for a 3-1 count. Efton Chisholm helped lead Monroe to the state quarterfinals in football for the first time in school history. The 3-1 will be a chopper straight to the third baseman, Theron Perkins, who throws to first, and will get Efton Chisholm in time for the first out of the second inning. Brings up the number 5 hitter and the starting pitcher, Ryan Witt. Well, we know how good he is on the mound, and at the plate, he is nothing's different about him. He has a .333 batting average, 15 hits and 45 at-bats with 8 RBIs, and is 3 for 3 in stolen bases. The first pitch by Justin, fly ball. That looks like it'll be playable. Will Wentz is under it right next to the Monroe dugout and will make the catch for the second out of the second inning. Will Wentz having to fight the sun there right next to the Monroe dugout in foul territory. And in just one pitch, it's the second out of the second inning. Brings up the number 6 hitter and the designated hitter, number 10, Gordon Davis. And the first pitch from Justin Troya. First pitch upstairs for a ball 1. Trying the curveball, Gordon Davis, a .286 batting average, 12 hits and 42 at-bats with 11 RBIs on the year. He has been hit once, he has been walked 3 times, and has scored 5 runs. The 1-0. Hard hit ball, this one going into left center field, and that will fall right in front of the left fielder, Ben Pizer. And Monroe gets the first hit of the afternoon, a 2-out single to left field by Gordon Davis. And that'll bring up the number 7 hitter, the starting freshman, number 3. Not number 3, is the starting first baseman, no. It is number 11, Ryan Lynch. And according to Max Preps, his stats, he's only 1 for 4 on the year. But he has been walked twice and has been hit once. First pitch by Justin. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Ryan Lynch is reaching for that one. That was on top of the strike zone. Ryan Lynch, he was the losing pitcher in Friday's game. He threw 4 2/3 innings of relief and threw more pitches than the starting pitcher, Andy Garordo. He threw 73. Throw to first, not in time. He was 4 2/3 with 4 hits, allowing 1 earned run, walking 2, and striking out 4, and got the loss. He is now down to 2 3 on the year. And Justin, the 0-1, upstairs, ball 1, around the same spot as the last pitch. With the only difference is Ryan Lynch didn't even try swinging at that one. And the reserves for the Monroe Bearcats, Brett Sylvie, Russ Cochran, Andy Garordo, Tucker Norton, Chase Sager, and a player from JV, Saul Gonzalez. And the 1-1 pitch, a foul ball going over the Monroe bleachers, a 1-2 count. And Monroe, this is their second year in which they have a new all AstroTurf field. Everything except the mound is AstroTurf, as they implemented it later as construction crews. They were starting on it about 4 years ago, and this is the second year that Monroe is playing on it. And the 1-2 pitch, a line drive right shot that'll hit the fence right next to the Monroe dugout. And Lake Stevens has played on this field 2 times, winning both times. Throw to first, not in time. The first game was the first conference game between both these teams. It was a 7 p.m. start. Vikings won by the score of 5-2. And in the second game, it was in the first round of the Wesco playoffs, a winner-go-home game, and the Vikings won 2-0 on a 1 p.m. start. The 1-2 pitch upstairs, ball 2. And that first round game was led by Connor Olmstead, who was the ace pitcher, and arguably one of the top pitchers during that time in Wesco baseball, throwing a complete game shutout. And the 2-2 pitch, that one going to center field, and it'll be a line shot caught by the center fielder, Christian LaPierre. Monroe gets the first hit of the afternoon for both teams, but it will not amount to anything, as it'll be no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on, as there'll still be no scores. We go to the end of the second inning. Ryan Witt will face off against the 9-1-2 hitters, Bryce Mefford, Ben Pizer, and Theron Perkins. In the top of the third inning, no score between the Vikings and M-Town. And we're now back in the top of the third inning. No score between Lake Stevens and Monroe. Will be the number 9 hitter, Bryce Mefford, who will come out to the plate. He'll be the designated hitter. He'll be hitting for the starting pitcher, Justin Troya, with a .091 batting average, 1 hit and 11 at-bats, with that 1 hit being a 2-bagger. First pitch, a line drive shot. This one going into the glove of the shortstop, Andrew Haight, who throws to first and just gets Bryce Mefford by a step on the first pitch for the first out of the third inning. It'll bring us back to the top of the order. That is Ben Pizer, who struck out looking on a 2-2 count in the top of the first. And Ryan Witt had a pretty rough second inning. 6 balls on 5 strikes for 11 pitches. 9 balls, 13 strikes, and 22 pitches total. In that inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on. Total, no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 runners left on. First pitch by Ryan. It'll be a foul ball. It'll hit the fence for a 0-1 count right next to the backstop. And here is the interesting part about the architecture of this field, is that in center field you can see, for people who don't know, the city of Monroe, or Monroe High School, they have a water tower that has a giant orange M on it. The 0-1 pitch, a ground ball to the second baseman, Morgan Granich, who will throw to first in time for the second out of the third inning. And it'll bring up Theron Perkins, who had a first pitch fly ball to the left fielder, Connor Spauman. The Monroe High School, it's stationed right next to a hill, and on that hill is a water tower with a big orange M on it. You can see that in center field. At left field is the Monroe High School football field, and at right field is the state penitentiary. Yes, I'm not joking. There's an actual state penitentiary right here, right near here. The first pitch, it'll be a line shot to the left fielder, Connor Spauman. He tries catching it while standing up, but it'll get to the wall. Theron Perkins, he is going to go towards third base. Connor, the throw to third is not in time, and Theron Perkins with a 2-out triple, and the Vikings have their first hit of the afternoon. Connor Spauman knew that ball was coming. He tried to make a running catch as the ball was going towards the ground, but it looks like he went a little too quick, and that ball rolled all the way to the wall. There were a few Monroe infielders that were right in the path between the wall of left field and in third base that were able to field the ball, but would not get Theron in time. First pitch to Trey, fly ball, that's playable. That one staying in the infield right behind the mound. The second baseman, Granich, calls for it, and it will end the top of the third inning. Lake Stevens, he looked like he had some life there with a 2-out triple by Theron Perkins, his second triple of the year, but it will not amount to anything, unfortunately. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on. Bottom of the third inning coming up. Justin Troya coming on the mound. He'll face the 8-9-1 hitters of Connor Spauman and Andrew Haight, and back to the top of the order with Grant Davis. No score, bottom of the third inning. And we are now back in the bottom of the third inning. No score between Lake Stevens and Monroe. Justin Troya doing pretty good for himself on the mound after 2 full innings of work. He'll try to pitch the third with ease. He'll face off against the number 8 hitter, the left fielder, number 8, Connor Spauman. First pitch from Justin. Strike 1 looking right down the middle. Connor Spauman, a .231 batting average, 9 hits in 39 at-bats. Double-digit. He is the one of 5 Monroe hitters with double-digit RBIs, 10 RBIs total. He is 3 for 4 in stolen bases as well. The 0-1. Outside ball 1. There'll be a 1-1 count. He has scored 2 runs. He has hit 3 doubles, hit 1 triple. He has been hit once and is been walked 9 times this season, 1-1 count. Justin Troya doing pretty good, 6 balls, 8 strikes on 14 pitches, allowing a hit in the second inning. And the 1-1 pitch, a foul ball hitting the fence right in front of the Lake Stevens bleachers along the third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Justin Troya, a total of 9 balls for 15 strikes and 24 pitches. No balls, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on. And the 1-2 from Justin. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him for the first out. And it'll be the second strikeout of the afternoon for Justin Troya. Will face off against the number 9 hitter, Andrew Haight. Is Haight spelled H-A-I-G-H-T. And he was a pinch hitter for the number 9 hitter, Morgan Greenwich, in Friday's game. And he hit a single off of Xander Fogel in the 9th inning, but then got out in a 4-6-3 double play. First pitch outside, ball 1. And the 1-0 by Justin, fly ball, goes over the fence for a foul, 1-1 count. And that one sounded like it hit a car in the parking lot. Here a few Monroe fans reacting to the fact that he hit the car. A few of them looking to see what car it hit. And the 1-1 pitch, it is playable right in foul territory, and it'll be caught by the first baseman, Will Wentz. He had to lean into fair territory to make that one. To make the catch as he was standing in foul territory. Had to lean to his left a little bit to get back in the fair territory. His glove, his entire right arm, and frankly most of his body was in fair territory when he made the catch for the second out. It'll bring us back to the top of the order, and Grant Davis, first pitch, ball 1. Hit a 1-2 pitch to the shortstop, Hunter Zalesko, for the first out in the bottom of the first inning.
I had sunglasses on too, though, so.
And Justin, the 1-0 pitch. And the ball 2, this one going outside. Justin Troya, this isn't even the first time they faced off against Monroe. Last year, he was the number 3 starter for the Lake Stevens Vikings West Coast Championship team last year. He threw 4 1/3, allowing 6 hits, 4 earned runs, walking 4 and striking out 2 as the Vikings lost 5-1. And the 2-0 pitch, strike 1 looking for a 2-0 count. And the 2-1 by Justin. Hard hit ball. This one going to right field. Tanner Lind is right there. Doesn't have to go anywhere to make that one. And Justin Troya throws another 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. Highlighted by a strikeout of Connor Spauman for the first batter. There's the end of 3. No score. We go into the top of the 4th. Ryan Witt coming back to the mound. Facing off against the middle of the order. Will Wentz, Christian LaPierre, and Tanner Lind, the first baseman, center fielder, and right fielder. In the top of the 4th inning, no score. And we are now back in the top of the 4th inning. Ryan Witt back on the mound, doing pretty good for himself, especially in that last inning after allowing the 2-out. With the exception of allowing the 2-out triple, he threw only 5 pitches. All of them were strikes. 9 balls, 18 pitches, 18 strikes, 27 pitches total. No runs, 1 hit, no error. 1 runner left on. First pitch from Ryan to Will Wentz, low for a ball 1. For a total of no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on. Total through 3 innings for Lake Stevens. And the 1-0, there'll be a check swing, ball, strike 1 looking. Monroe, they're currently on a 5-game losing streak. Their last win was back on April 6th. As a 1-1 pitch, right? That's going into foul territory. Connor Spauman running towards it. But he'll get over the fence before he's able to get to it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Monroe, one of the top storylines of this game is that Monroe, they're currently on a 5-game losing streak right now. They had a record of 8-2. They are now at 8-7. And they had a conference record of 4-0. They're now at 4-5 and currently with the number 6 seed in the West Coast standings. Last win was April 6th. The 1-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Ryan Witt getting his second strikeout of the afternoon, the first one since the first batter of the first inning, and Ben Pizer. And it'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Christian LaPierre, who was walked on a full count to start the second inning. And the first pitch, outside, ball 1. Last win for the Monroe Bearcats, April 6th. It was at Kamiak. Monroe won by the score of 8-3 before being swept by Mount Vernon and Cascade. Timeout by Christian before Ryan is able to throw to the pitch. And Monroe, they got swept by Mount Vernon 4-2 and 6-4. First game was on the road, second game was at home. The 0-1. It'll be a foul grounder. This one will get in the foul territory before it will roll along the first base line in fair territory and was fielded by Ryan Witt. 1 ball and 1 strike. And then after that, Monroe got swept by the Cascade Bruins, currently one of the hottest teams in the state for 4A right now. 12-2 overall. They were 8-1 in conference play, and in the recent baseball rankings, they're ranked number 3 in the state for 4A. As Monroe was swept 5-1 and 5-4, with the second game being on a walk-off, and the 1-1 pitch. That was a hanging curveball on the inside, 1-2 count. Ryan Witt next year is going to play for the Everett Community College Trojans. He announced this back in National Signing Day. And the 1-2 pitch, Ryan trying that hanging curveball again. This one going inside, ball 2. Hasn't really been trying that pitch that much, and looks like he's seeing some progress with Christian. The 2-2 inside, ball 3. Another full count from Ryan to Christian. Here are the standings currently in the Wesco 4A division. Cascade, I said, was in first place with 8-1. Jackson and Glacier Peak are currently tied for second place at 6-3, and the Vikings are tied for 4th. And the payoff pitch, ball 4 going outside. And Christian LaPierre once again walked on a full count. And the Vikings got their first base runner since Christian 2 innings ago. We'll bring up the number 6 hitter, the right fielder, Tanner Lind, who flew out on a 1-0 pitch to the center fielder, Luke Klein, en route to 3 consecutive flyouts to the senior center fielder. The first pitch from Ryan. Chopper, this one hitting the fence right next to Monroe dugout, the 0-1 count. Lake Stevens, as of today, April 24th, 2018, currently tied with Mount Vernon for a tie in 4th place for the Wesco playoffs with a 5-4 record. Monroe currently with the 6th seed at a 4-5 record. Kamiak, a 2-7 record at the 7th spot. Mariner hasn't even won a conference game yet. And the 0-1 upstairs for a ball 1. And Ryan, throw to first. Did he get him? He did not. A really close play at first base. Throw to first not in time. On Friday, while Lake Stevens was walking off against Monroe, there were other games that were played as well. A couple of double-digit victories as well. Jackson beating Kamiak by the score of 15-3 on the road. And the 1-1 pitch, upstairs ball 2 to the catcher Keegan Veely. It'll be Cascade beating Mariner by the score of 11-3, and Glacier Peak beating Mount Vernon by the score of 6-2. That sounded like a pretty good matchup right there. And the 2-1 pitch, let low for a ball 3 to throw to second. A 1-hopper to the shortstop, Andrew Haight, who tries tagging Christian LaPierre at second to no avail, and Christian LaPierre with his 5th stolen base of the year. And it doesn't look like it's getting any better for Ryan Witt as he is facing off against a 3-1 count, pitching against the junior southpaw Tanner Lind. And the 3-1 by Ryan. Outside ball 4, Lake Stevens, the first time this afternoon that both teams have multiple runners on. Runners on first and second for Hunter Zalesko, who had a first pitch to center field. And a timeout by Monroe. Keegan Veely going to talk to Ryan. And in other games that are going on today, Mount Vernon traveling down the Cathcart Way in Snohomish to play Glacier Peak, a little short ways from here. Kamiak traveling to Mill Creek to play Jackson, and Cascade playing at Mariner High School here on a pretty beautiful day, partly cloudy. You see a little bit of cloud lines in the sky. First pitch, strike 1, throw to second is not in time to get Christian as he was leaning away from second base a little bit. It was fielded by the shortstop Andrew Haight for an 0-1 count. Hunter tried bunting for that one. It looks like he leaned in a little too far as the home plate umpire will call it a strike. And the 0-1 by Ryan, upstairs, ball 1. And so Kamiak taking on Jackson. Jackson currently tied for second. Kamiak currently not in the running for a playoff spot. Mount Vernon and Glacier Peak, that one I think is the most important. Right in front of the Lake Stevens Monroe series. Ball 2, this one going under the strike zone for a 2-1 count. So if Kamiak loses and Lake Stevens wins, Lake Stevens will automatically get a playoff spot. And this one, a fly ball, that one going into short right field. Efton Chisholm is under it and will make the catch for the second out of the 4th inning. And it'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Brandon Miller, who hit a 1-0 pitch to center field for Luke Klein. And in terms of the playoff spots, regardless of Kamiak, they're 3-12. They played a non-conference game on Saturday. They finally played against Bishop Blanchette, and they lost 7-6. They're 3-12 overall, 2-7 in conference play. Chances are they're going to go playoff spot. And the first pitch to Brandon Miller is a strike. Keegan Veely throwing to third to get Christian LaPierre out at third base by a mile. A nice throw by the catcher Keegan Veely, and that will end the top of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on once again. There'll be Justin Troya coming back on the mound for the bottom of the 4th inning, facing off against Veely, Klein, and Efton Chisholm in the bottom of the 4th inning. Still no score between Lake Stevens and Monroe. And we are now back in the deep bottom of the 4th inning. Lake Stevens, they had runners on first and second, but due to Christian LaPierre caught stealing at third, that chance is now over. As we now go into the bottom of the 4th inning. First pitch to Keegan Veely will be a ball 1. Veely is 0 for 1 with a 1-0 pitch to the shortstop Hunter Zalesko on a ground ball. The 1-0 pitch, this one a 1-hopper to the catcher Trey Long, a 2-0 count. So Christian LaPierre will be caught stealing and will now be 5 for 6. While Tanner Lind will get a stolen base. He's now 6 for 6. And the 2-0 pitch outside for a ball 3. Justin, a pretty good 3rd inning. 4 balls for 7 strikes and 11 pitches. Total of 13 balls, 22 strikes, and 35 pitches total in all zeros. A total of no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. The 3-0 pitch right down the middle for a 3-1 count. And Justin getting the sign from the catcher Trey Long, the 3-1. Foul ball hits the fence above the backstop behind home plate. Be a payoff. Be a full count 3-2. And I said this on Friday, but both teams, they have 4 conference games each, and they're practically against the same opponent. The payoff pitch, fly ball. That one looked like barely getting in the fair territory. That one going to short right field, right next to the first base line. It is caught by the right fielder Tanner Lind for the first out of the 4th inning. A really good job by Will Wentz and Tanner Lind so far, especially because they both got 2 putouts each. They both caught 2 flyouts, and they were both. And the sun, there's nothing covering the sun. It is both, and so far they've gotten most of the struggle so far of trying to catch fly balls here in the sun. It's still a really good day and is expected to be a pretty good day, pretty good week so far for, especially around this area, city of Lake Stevens, Monroe, Snohomish, everywhere near here. The first pitch, ball 1, the 1-0 pitch upstairs, ball 2. And Lake Stevens, after this game, they'll be playing tomorrow on April 25th at home against Glacier Peak. They'll be playing a 2-game series against the Grizzlies, and then we'll play their final 2 games against Jackson. And the 2-0 pitch, ball 3, another 3-0 count for Justin. While the Monroe Bearcats will be playing tomorrow at Jackson. So it'll be, for Monroe, it'll be Jackson, then Glacier Peak. For Lake Stevens, it's the other way around, the 3-0. Strike 1, right down the middle, 3-1 count. Very similar to the last at-bat for Justin Troy, is able to get a full count on Keegan Veely after getting a 3-0 count on him and making him fly out to right. And the 3-1 by Justin. Swing and a miss, strike 2, and another full count for the Justin Troy, a second straight batter. And Justin doing a pretty good job with pitch management in this inning. on a couple of pretty good hitters in Veely and Klein. The payoff pitch outside, ball 4. And Monroe getting their first base runner on since the second inning with a 2-out single by Gordon Davis. And it'll now bring up Efton Chisholm, who grounded out to the third baseman, Theron Perkins. Timeout by Lake Stevens. Josh White, the manager for Lake Stevens, along with the catcher Trey Long, talking to Justin Troya. And so far, very similar to what we saw in the last time the Vikings had a road game. That was at Mount Vernon between Will Wentz and Mount Vernon's number 3 pitcher, Hudson Rhines, who apparently could pitch pretty well. And the game ended in a 1-0 final score on an RBI single by Theron Perkins, who was playing in his first game since he got back from an injury to his back, and that kept him sidelined for the past couple of weeks. First pitch to Justin, a foul ball hitting the backstop behind home plate, no 1 count. As Justin Troya now sitting at 40, he was sitting at 47 pitches when Josh White got up to the mound to talk to Justin. Now he's sitting at 48 pitches. Justin looking over at first, the 0-1. And Trey Long, the throw to second, not in time as Luke Klein will steal second base off of Trey Long. The ball gets out of the glove. It's outside, and it gets out of the glove of Trey Long. He throws to second. It'll be a 1-hopper to Hunter Zalesko, and Luke Klein saw that Trey Long wasn't even attempting to rush towards the ball as it was running towards him, and Monroe has their first run in scoring position. The 1-1. Swing and a missed strike 2. And Luke Klein, team leading 8th stolen base of the year. He is 8 for 12 this year. And Justin, the 1-2. Fly ball. That one goes over the fence right above the Monroe bleachers for a 1-2 count. And a couple more additions at a new field. The top of the outfield wall is covered in orange. His center field is covered by black tarp from left center to right center. And the 1-2 pitch, another foul ball. This one landing right in front of the Lake Stevens bleachers. 1 ball and 2 strikes as Efton Chisholm keeps the at-bat alive. And on both foul poles, it says the word Bearcats going horizontally. It is an orange foul pole with the word Bearcats in big, bold, black letters going horizontally. And the 1-2 pitch upstairs, ball 2. Now, it's hard to tell from this angle if Lake Stevens has anyone warming up in the bullpen, but they do have everyone warmed up and ready to go. Jacob Gordon, Alec Ibachuan, Tate Brust, Andrew Fogel, they can use those guys. And the 2-2 pitch upstairs, ball 3, another full count 3-2. And the third straight one for Justin Troya. And Jacob Wardela is also another pitcher that Josh White can go towards. Jacob Wardela, he is turning out to be the top reliever for the Lake Stevens Vikings. We saw that back in Friday's game, where he threw 4 innings of scoreless relief. And the payoff pitch low for a ball 4. And after Lake Stevens has a runner on first and second, Monroe now has runners on first and second, as Ryan Witt, the starting pitcher, comes up to the plate. He flew out on the first pitch to the first baseman, Will Wentz, for the second out of the second inning. As Ryan Witt aims to give Monroe the lead, the first lead in this game, and try and get the first run on the board for both teams. Look over at second, and doesn't throw towards Luke Klein. Now for both Glacier Peak and Jackson, Glacier Peak, they're currently playing in a pretty pivotal series against Mount Vernon. They won the first game, which brought Mount Vernon tied for 4th place with the Vikings. First pitch from Justin, 1 hopper to Trey. Ball goes, and it'll be a wild pitch, and Monroe has runners on second and third. And timeout by Lake Stevens. Trey Long talking to Justin Troya. And now Monroe, with 1 out, is seriously threatening to get a run on the board. As Luke Klein will move to third base, Efton Chisholm moving to second. And the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, they are currently tied for second place with Jackson. So either one of these teams could affect the standings right here. These standings are not going to be the same. There's a really small chance that Lake Stevens is going to stay tied for fourth place by the end of the year. The 1-0, a fly ball. That one is out for a foul. Goes over the fence. That one landing right on top of a portable that is right behind the Monroe dugout along the first base line. And Justin, the 1-1. Ball 2, this one going upstairs. As the Glacier Peak Grizzlies are playing against Mount Vernon. Another thing is that they also lost a lot of players, so they're having a pretty decent season so far for a team that's lost a lot of players. The 2-1 pitch, outside ball 3. Josh White should be having someone warming up right about now. Probably either Jacob Gordon or Jacob Wardla. Either one could work. Either one would work. And Justin behind on the count, the windup in the 3-1. And it'll be a ball 4. This one hitting just above the strike zone. Ball 4, bases loaded. For Justin Troya, Josh White going to the mound along with Trey Long to talk with Justin before he faces off against Gordon Davis, who is the only Monroe hitter to get a base hit. He hit a 2-out single to left field, and they are going to take out Justin Troya, and they're going to bring in number 18, Jacob Gordon. They'll take a quick break. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1 out, and the bases are loaded. Lake Stevens bringing in a new pitcher. It is no score between Lake Stevens and Monroe. Jacob Gordon on the mound for Lake Stevens. And we are now back in the deep bottom of the 4th inning. Monroe threatening with bases loaded with 1 out. Against a new pitcher, number 18, Jacob Gordon, also making his 7th appearance, facing off against Gordon Davis. First pitch hitting off one of the light poles that's just outside of the fence and is rolling towards another one of the baseball field. Not another one of the baseball fields, but there are 2 other softball fields right next to this one. It'll be a 1-0 count. Jacob Gordon in his 7th game, no wins and no losses. The area of 2.33, fly ball. This one also getting out around the same part too. No balls and 2 strikes. Jacob already ahead of the count. He has thrown 9 innings total, allowing 9 hits, 3 earned runs, walking 2 batters, and striking out 8. And Justin Troya finishing with 3 1/3 innings, allowing 1 hit, currently no earned runs, walking 3 and striking out 2. And the 0-2 pitch is inside for a ball 1. Nice stop by Trey behind the plate to keep the runners on base. It is Luke Klein at third base, Efton Chisholm at second, and Ryan Witt at first, and it is with 1 out. And the 1-2 by Jacob. This one goes over the glove of the shortstop, Hunter Zalesko. Is a slow liner. 1 run will score, and that will be the only one that would score. An RBI single by Gordon Davis. The shortstop, Hunter Zalesko, underestimated how high that ball will go and how fast it would fall as he was leaping up to get that one. But it would just get above his glove. Monroe, just like on Friday, starts off with a 1-0 lead. And Monroe gets their 2nd hit of the afternoon, both of them coming from the designated hitter Gordon Davis. The next batter is Ryan Lynch, who flew out to center. First pitch, strike 1 looking. And Jacob getting the sign from Trey Long in the 0-1 pitch, outside ball 1. So that will be an earned run towards Justin Troya. It will be his 12th earned run total of the year. He has walk total is now up to 22, and his strikeout total is now up to 15, which is a team high. The 1-1 fly ball hits the fence, 1-2 count. As Jacob now ahead of the count on the first baseman Ryan Lynch. In his last at-bat, he had a full count pitch to center field. The 1-2 fly ball, that is out for a foul. This one going behind the fence, behind home plate, going over the fence behind home plate, and right near the bleachers of another field. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gordon Davis also with RBI number 12 on the year. And the 1-2 upstairs, ball 2. And Justin Troya also with 60 pitches total through 3 1/3 innings. The Snakes still ahead of the count, the 2-2. Ball 3, a nice spot, but the home plate umpire just doesn't see that one as a strike. And Jacob, the payoff pitch. That'll be a foul ball that'll hit the fence right next to the on-deck hitter Connor Spauman, as Ryan Lynch fighting in this at-bat, as he was leaning for that one. And the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, a huge strikeout by Jacob Gordon. As he gets Ryan Lynch swinging, it's the first strikeout for Gordon. He is now has his 9th strikeout overall this year. Brings up the number 8 hitter Connor Spauman, who struck out swinging on 4 pitches against Justin Troya. Timeout by Lake Stevens. Josh White and Trey Long once again going to the mound, and they're going to take Jacob Gordon out of the game. And you can see he'll be walking back to the dugout. They're going to bring in number 32, Xander Fogle, and he is coming back. This is his 3rd straight game that he is suiting up for the varsity team, and this is the 3rd straight appearance for Xander. He has thrown 5 scoreless innings so far. Let's see if he can keep that scoreless streak alive. We'll be right back in the bottom of the 4th inning. Monroe takes a 1-0 lead with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And we are now back once again in the bottom of the 4th inning. Josh White bringing out his 3rd pitcher already, his 3rd pitcher on the mound this inning, as he brings back Xander Fogle. First pitch, a foul chopper going behind the fence for an 0-1 count. Jacob Gordon, inning and a third, 1 hit and 1 strikeout on 12 pitches, and he is responsible for Gordon Davis at first, so he currently has no earned runs, but we cannot say that as official right now. Xander Fogle is making his 3rd appearance this year, and this one's a hard hit ball. That one going into left field. 1 run's going to score. Ryan Witt is running around 3rd base, and the throw will be cut off by the first baseman, Will Wentz. And Monroe now has a 3-0 lead on an 0-1 count, a 2-run single by Connor Spauman. And Monroe now has a 3-0 lead. All 3 runners that Justin Troya left on base has scored, so now his stat line is official. He has allowed 3 earned runs. Jacob Gordon, he allowed Gordon Davis. His stat line is still unofficial, as Gordon Davis is now at 3rd. First pitch to Andrew Haight going into left field. Back goes Pizer, and that will land at the wall. Gordon Davis is going to score. Is going to score from 3rd, and another run will score. Andrew Haight with a 2-run double, and Monroe's opening up the floodgates here in the bottom of the 4th. The score now 5-0. The score now 5-0. Monroe over Lake Stevens. As the 9th batter of the inning will come up, the leadoff hitter Grant Davis, ball 1. And the 1-0. Hard hit ball. That one going in the right center field. That is going to fall. Andrew Haight is going to score from second, and it'll be a 6-0 Monroe lead. And Trey Long going up to the mound already. And Xander Fogel coming into this game, he was 2-0 with an ERA of 0, scoreless innings, scoreless 5 2/3 innings. Now he's allowed 2 runs. Gordon Davis has scored, so his stat line for Jacob Gordon is done, allowing 1 earned run. And there are now 2 earned runs towards Xander Fogel in his 3rd game. And Xander, the first pitch. It'll be a strike 1 looking to Keegan Veely, who started off the 4th inning with a fly ball to right. And the 0-1 by Xander, low, ball 1. And the 1-1 pitch, it'll hit Keegan Veely square in the back. It'll be the 3rd time this year that Veely will get hit. And Monroe has runners on first and second base with 2 outs. Timeout by Lake Stevens. Josh White very tempted to bring in another pitcher, and they will. As this is not Xander Fogel's afternoon, they're going to bring in a 4th pitcher. They're going to bring in Alec Ibachuan. We'll take another quick break. Bottom of the 4th inning, Monroe now with a 6-0 lead over Lake Stevens. And the Vikings already bringing in their 4th pitcher in this game, and the 4th pitcher who will pitch in this inning. It's now a 6-0 Monroe lead, bottom of the 4th. And we are now back again into the bottom of the 4th inning. Lake Stevens bringing in their 4th pitcher is number 13, Alec Ibachuan. The face-off against Luke Klein. First pitch, ball 1. And Xander Fogel did not record an out. He allowed 3 hits. Currently, it's 2 earned runs. He is responsible for Davis at second and Veely at first, with no walks and no strikeouts. And the 1-0 pitch, a fly ball, goes over the fence behind home plate. And it goes right next to the Monroe softball field, right next to Monroe's home dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alec Ibachuan making his 4th appearance this season. Outside, ball 2. There's no wins and no losses with an ERA of 0. 3 1/3, 2 hits. He walks. What is it? He walked 6 batters, is that right? No, 2 batters. He allowed 6. Yeah, he allowed 2 hits. He walked 6 batters and struck out only 1. This one, a fly ball going in the left field. Ben Pizer running towards it in foul territory. And will make the catch for the 3rd out and will end the tumultuous 4th inning. A huge one for the Monroe Bearcats. They got 6 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on. Xander Fogel now finally allowing 2 earned runs on the year. Ryan Witt now in a very comfortable position to pitch in this game, but Lake Stevens, they have something to say about that going into the top of the 5th inning. An 8-9-1 of Brendan Miller, Bryce Mefford, and Ben Pizer. Going back to the 8-9-1 as Lake Stevens will try to make this a ball game again. Top of the 5th, score 6-0 Monroe. And we are now back into the top of the 5th inning. Lake Stevens trying to respond to Monroe's 6-run 4th inning that gave him a 6-0 lead. Vikings are trying to start with Brendan Miller, who was 0 for 1 with a fly out to center. And it was during his at-bat in which Christian LaPierre got caught stealing in 3rd. That proved to be huge as Monroe had a 6-run 4th. First pitch, a strike 1 looking. Ryan Witt had a pretty rough 4th inning as well. 11 balls on 9 strikes for 20 pitches with a total of 20 balls, 27 strikes, 47 pitches. The 0-1, inside ball 1. There was a total of no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on. For a total of no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 4 runners left on. The 1-1 by Ryan. It'll be a foul ball. It'll hit the backstop behind home plate, and will get away from the glove of the catcher, Keegan Veely. Ryan ahead of the count. It'll be an 8-9-1, second baseman Brendan Miller, the designated hitter Bryce Mefford, and the left fielder Ben Pizer. And the 1-2 by Ryan. Strike 3 call, Brandon Miller striking out, looking for the first out of the 5th inning. As it'll be strikeout number 3 on the afternoon for Ryan Witt. Brings up the number 9 hitter, Bryce Mefford, who grounded out to the shortstop, Andrew Haight, on the first pitch he saw back in the 3rd inning. And the first pitch from Ryan. Strike 1 looking. Right down the middle. And the 0-1 pitch low for a ball 1. Ryan Witt has recently been pretty efficient with first pitch strikes. His last 5 batters, counting Brandon Miller twice, has been an 0-1 count. 1-1 pitch outside ball 2. And a timeout by Bryce Mefford. And Lake Stevens, they're going to have to play games in 4 straight days. This is day 1. And the 2-1 by Ryan. Strike 2 looking, a 2-2 count to Bryce. They're going to play at home against Glacier Peak tomorrow on Wednesday, April 25th. On April 26th, they'll be playing against Arlington. And on 27th, they're going to be at home. The 2-2 pitch, a fly ball to left, going to the left fielder, Connor Spaulding, who will make the catch for the 2nd out of the 5th inning. A fly out to the left fielder, Connor Spaulding. It brings us back to the top of the order for the 3rd time around in Ben Pizer, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out to second. The first pitch by Ryan. This one will hit Ben Pizer on the foot on the first pitch. It'll be the 2nd time this year that Ben will get hit. And Lake Stevens once again has a runner on first base, bringing up the number 2 hitter, Theron Perkins, who is 1 for 2 with that two-out triple back in the 3rd inning, and has so far been the most that Lake Stevens hitting could do. It doesn't look that much after looking that they are down 6-0. First pitch swing and a missed, strike 1. Ryan looking over at first base. And the 0-1 pitch. Strike 2 looking. Throw to first to try and get Ben is not in time. But Ryan is ahead of the count to try and end this inning. Perkins with a .380 batting average, 8 hits and 25 at-bats. Entering this game, he has hit 1 triple, has been walked 3 times. He has now hit 2 triples. And it shows a lot of promise for him for the rest of this season, and especially next season too, because he's returning. And the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. The catcher, Keegan Veely, throwing to first, and that will end the bottom of the 5th inning. There'll be no runs, no hits, no errors, and another 1 runner left on. Ryan Witt, through 5 innings, looking masterful on the mound, especially now with a 6-0 Monroe lead. Aleki Bachuan back on the mound in the bottom half of the 5th, facing off against the middle of the order, Efton Chisholm, Ryan Witt, and Gordon Davis. And we are now back into the bottom of the 5th inning. Monroe trying to add to that 6-0 lead with all 6 runs coming in the last inning. Aleki Bachuan back on the mound for the Vikings, facing off against the right fielder, Efton Chisholm. First pitch, a strike 1 looking. Efton Chisholm, he is 0 for 1, grounded out to Theron at 3rd, and then got on base on a full count walk, and later scored on a 2-run double by Connor Spaulding. And the 0-1 by Alec upstairs, ball 1. Ibachuan, he only had 1 at-bat in the 4th inning, and that was the fly out to left to Luke Klein. So he threw 2 balls and 2 strikes for 4 pitches, 6 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on. The 1-1 pitch. Chopper, a slow roller going to the 3rd baseman, Theron Perkins, who throws to first and gets him in time. Will Wentz tags Efton Chisholm before he gets to the bag, and that will be the first out of the 5th, bringing up the number 5 hitter, Ryan Witt, who is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. So Xander Fogel finishing his day, no outs, so 0 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and no Ks on only 8 pitches. And Jacob Gordon, inning and a third, 1 hit, 1 earned run, no walks, and 1 strikeout on just 12 pitches. And the first pitch from Ibachuan to Ryan Witt, low and outside, ball 1. Justin Troya, 3 and a third, 1 hit, 3 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 60 pitches. And the 1-0 pitch upstairs for a ball 2. And the 2-0 by Alec. Hard hit ball, that one going into left field, landing right in front of the left fielder, Ben Pizer, and Ryan Witt has his first hit of the afternoon, a 1-out single. And it'll be a pinch runner for Ryan Witt. And Monroe, they have the home white jerseys. It doesn't show the number. I had to guess it'll be number 3, Brett Sylvie. So it looks like it had a single number on there. First pitch, a fly ball foul to Gordon Davis, who has so far been the player of the game for the Monroe Bearcats. 2 for 2 with 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored, starting that 6-run onslaught last inning. Alec looking over at first base. And the 0-1. Ground ball. This one going to the second baseman, Brendan Miller, who tosses it to first base. And it will get him out in time for the second out, moving Brett Sylvie to second base. And it'll bring up Ryan Lynch, who is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Alec Ibachuan looking over at second. The windup in the first pitch is a ground ball that just gets past the third base foul line to third baseman Theron Perkins. Running for that one. Ryan Lynch flew out on a 2-2 pitch to end the second inning, and with 1 out, facing off against Jacob Gordon, he struck out swinging before Josh White pulled him. And the 0-1. And a ball 1 inside. Alec trying the slow curveball, but unfortunately it goes inside. Alec looking over at Sylvie at second base. And the 1-1. Ground ball, a slow roller, another one to Theron. Throw to first is in time, and it will end the 5th inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. Monroe still with a 6-0 lead as the Vikings will come back onto the plate. Let's see if Ryan Witt can continue his masterful performance on the mound. Facing off against Trey Long, Will Wentz, and Christian LaPierre, the heart of the Lake Stevens lineup in the top of the 6th inning. 6-0 Monroe. And we are now back into the top of the 6th inning. Monroe still with a 6-0 lead. Ryan Witt, he has just been masterful on the mound through 5 innings, allowing 1 hit, walking 3 batters, striking out 3 batters. May not look that much on the stat line, but considering it's through 5 innings, is pretty impressive. The first pitch to Trey Long, a strike 1 looking, with Ryan Witt trying that hanging curveball again. Trey Long, he is 0 for 1. He got hit on an 0-1 pitch back in the top of the 1st inning, square in the back. And the 0-1 pitch outside for a ball 1. And in the 3rd inning, with a runner on 3rd, Trey Long hit a pop fly to the second baseman, Morgan Granich. And later, while coming behind the plate, he later hit his head on the catcher's mitt. This one getting past the glove of the 3rd baseman, Grant Davis, on a 1-1 pitch going in the left field is a leadoff single for the Lake Stevens Vikings. Trey Long getting the 2nd hit of the afternoon for the Lake Stevens Vikings. Brings up Will Wentz, who is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Ryan Witt looking over at first base. The windup in the first pitch, a hard hit ball deep in the center field. Luke Klein going back. He is at the wall. He will make the catch for the first out in the top of the 6th inning. Now bring up Christian LaPierre, the senior southpaw center fielder who's been walked twice. He was walked in the 2nd inning, stranded at first, and was walked in the 4th inning and was caught stealing, trying to get 3rd after already stolen 2nd base. Ryan looking over at first base. First pitch to Christian. Outside, ball 1. And the 1-0. Outside, ball 2. Throw to first by Keegan Veely, not in time. And Keegan Veely doing a pretty good job. It shows how high his baseball IQ is. He catches the ball from Witt right in front of the batter, then goes behind the batter, then throws the ball behind LaPierre. LaPierre doesn't even move to try and get Trey at first. And the throw to first not in time. And the 2-0 count. Trey, runner goes, ball 3. Throw to second is not in time, and Trey's got a stolen base. Trey Long already jumping the gun before Ryan Witt could even lift his leg up, and he's got his 4th stolen base of the year on a 3-0 count for Ryan Witt against LaPierre. It looks like it's on track for Christian to be walking the first a third time. The 3-0. Strike 1 looking. And Ryan looking at second, 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4, and Christian is walked for the 3rd time this afternoon. And Lake Stevens, once again with runners on first and second, brings up Tanner Lind, who is 0 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base, as he stole second, while Christian got caught stealing at third, so Tanner Lind technically now has 6 stolen bases. And Ryan Witt, first pitch. Check swing, ball 1. And the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Now, Glacier Peak, they had, if I remember correctly, they had 14 seniors graduate from last year's team that went to the state tournament. They lost in the first round of the state playoffs last year, 5-4 on a walk-off double against Chiawana. The 1-1, outside, ball 2. And the only player, there was one player in that Glacier Peak lineup last year that returned, and it was their second baseman. His name is Riley Parker, and him alone is really just a good part of the firepower. And this one's a hard hit ball going into left field. And it'll be the left fielder Connor Spauman who will make the catch for the second out, leaving Trey at second and Christian at first. For the second out in the top of the 6th inning, brings up Hunter Zalesko, who is 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts. And from what I'm seeing, Glacier Peak, they have even though they don't have that much hitting and not that much pitching, it looks like Glacier Peak, they have recovered mentally just in time for conference play, and they look pretty good. Trey's running for third. Keegan Veely cannot throw as he looks at second or third base. Trey Long with stolen base number 5. Christian LaPierre with stolen base number 6. First pitch was a strike 1 called to Hunter Zalesko, and he has a chance to get a couple RBIs. Timeout by Hunter. And after Glacier Peak will be the Jackson Timberwolves, a team that was expected at the start of the year to run away with the regular season title and possibly the Westco title. Well, it doesn't look like that's the case, as both teams are currently tied for second. Hunter on an 0-1 pitch gets hit square in the back. It'll be the 4th time this year that Hunter will get hit, and it'll bring up Brendan Miller, who is 0 for 2. The timeout by Monroe, as the Bearcats currently have a couple pitchers warming up in the bullpen. Because this is the first game of the week for both teams, they could practically use any pitchers. Just, for both Eric Chartrand, the manager for Monroe, and Josh White for the manager for Lake Stevens, they got to use their pitchers wisely. Josh White did that back in the 4th inning by only letting Jacob Gordon in for an inning and a third, for a third of an inning, and Xander Fogel for only a few batters. Is because Xander Fogel is expected to be Friday's starter when the Vikings play against Glacier Peak, at Glacier Peak. First pitch, hard hit ball, fly ball. This one staying in the infield. The first baseman, Ryan Lynch, has it, is under it, and will make the catch, and it will end the threat in the top of the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on. It'll end the top of the 6th inning. It's still a 6-0 game towards Monroe. Aleki Bachuan on the mound in the bottom of the 6th, facing off against the 8-9-1 hitters of Connor Spauman, Andrew Haight, and Grant Davis. Monroe still with a 6-run lead. And we are now back in the bottom of the 6th inning. Aleki Bachuan back on the mound. Monroe still with a 6-0 lead. Connor Spaulding back at the plate, 1 for 2 with a 2-run single in the 4th. First pitch, upstairs, ball 1. And Alec, he had a pretty good 5th inning in relief. 4 balls for 7 strikes and 11 pitches. 6 balls, 9 strikes, and 15 pitches total. The 0-1, swing and a missed, strike 1. For a total of no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. A total of 6 runs on 6 hits, no errors, and 4 runners left on for Monroe. And Alec, the windup in the 1-1. Fly ball, that one staying in the infield right near the second base bag. It'll be the shortstop, Hunter Zalesko, who will call for it and will make the catch for the first out of the 6th. And he'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Andrew Haight, who is 1 for 2 with a 2-run double in the 4th inning. Andrew, that was his 2nd double of the year, and it was RBIs number 5 and 6 on the year for him. For Connor Spaulding in his 2-run single, that was RBIs number 10 and 12 for him, and his 4th double of the year. First pitch, foul ball. This one going behind the main bleachers behind home plate. And there was the RBI single by Grant Davis. That was RBI number 10 for him, bringing him up to double digits this year. And the 0-1, fly ball, an 0-2 count, another foul. And that one hitting the fence of the softball field right across from us. There's a couple of softball fields right next to the baseball field. One of them is the one that the Monroe varsity team uses. The other is just a normal practice field. And the 0-2 pitch, another fly ball. This one going into short right field. Brandon Miller calling for it at second base. And he will make the catch for the 2nd out. And now Monroe, for the 4th time around, will bring up the top of the order, Grant Davis. He is 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the 4th. And Alec, the windup in the first pitch, upstairs, ball 1. And Ryan Witt aiming to throw a complete game shutout as he comes back in the top of the 7th, faces off against Bryce Mefford, Ben Pizer, and Theron Perkins. And the 1-0 pitch of ball 2 for a 2-0 count. Now again, the next game for both these teams, they're both going to be playing tomorrow on April 25th. The 2-0, strike 1 looking for a 2-1 count. Again, the Monroe Bearcats, they're going to play against the Jackson Timberwolves at Jackson on the 25th, and then they're going to play at home right here at Monroe High School on April 27th against the Timberwolves, trying to either split the series or trying to sweep them for that matter. That would be huge. And the 2-1 pitch in the top part of the strike zone, 2 balls and 2 strikes, while for Lake Stevens, we play on April 25th at home against Glacier Peak, on April 27th at Glacier Peak, and then right between there, we'll be finishing up on April 26th against the 15-1 Arlington Eagles, who are 4th best in the state for 3A. This one, a slow liner, fielded by Brandon Miller. He bobbles the baseball, and it'll be an error by the senior second baseman, and Monroe has a base runner in the bottom of the 6th inning and 2 outs. Now I'll bring up Keegan Veely, who is 0 for 2. 2 of his 3 at-bats in this game have both been in the 4th inning, with the lone one being a ground out to the shortstop, Hunter Zalesko, in the 1st. Alec looking over at first base towards Grant Davis. Throw to first, not in time to get Will. Not in time to Will to get Grant Davis. The Arlington Eagles, that is I looked it up. Apparently that's their next game. They don't play a game today or tomorrow. They have to wait until Thursday. First pitch, a one hopper to the catcher, Trey Long, who lost it for a second. But it looked like Grant Davis also lost where the ball went to, because he went back to first base. And they have a lot of star players, a lot of base runners. This one, the hard hit ball. This one laced on the third base line in left field. Ben Pizer to throw to third base, and he cannot throw. Throw to second as Keegan Veely's in the middle of a rundown and is not able to throw back to first. And it'll be a 2-out single. Monroe with a little bit of life left in them. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. They'll bring up the number 3 hitter, the center fielder, Luke Klein, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. And Alec the first pitch, fly ball, that's foul. And the Jackson Timberwolves, one reason why they were expected at the start of the year to run away with the regular season title and possibly the Wesco title, is because of some of the players they had. They had 2 guys who are going to Oregon State, one this year, one next year. And the 0-1 pitch, a strike 2 looking on the outside corner of the strike zone, as Alec is ahead of the count in an 0-2 count. They have Carter Booth, who is a senior going to Oregon State, and they have Carter Booth, who is a outfielder, and Ben Steck, who is a catcher and second baseman and junior. Runner goes, the 0-2 pitch. There'll be a foul ball. Luke Klein reaching for that one. Keegan Veely trying to get second. Oh no, wait a minute. That's on error. They're going to call that a single. So there's no errors. Second hit for Grant Davis. And the 0-2 pitch, a line drive shot going in the left field. Grant Davis scoring easily from third. It is now a 7-0 Monroe lead. RBI number 16. He now has the team high for Luke Klein. 18th run for Grant Davis. And Monroe, even though they were up by 6 runs, look like again they still have a little life in them. Getting another run on the board. Here's Efton Chisholm, who's 0 for 2. First pitch is a foul liner that rolls away from home plate for an 0-1 count. And Jackson, in some parts of the field, they're one of those teams who are really good in terms of hitting. I think that's one of their main concepts. One of their main factors for Jackson is hitting, and you can clearly see that. The 0-1 pitch, this one going in the right center field. Tanner Lind is underrated, will make the catch to end the 6th. But a run will score. It'll be 1 run on 3 hits. No errors. My mistake. No errors. And 2 runners left on. And before Monroe looks like tries to shut Lake Stevens away, they get another run on the board. It is a 7-0 Monroe lead. Ryan Witt is going into the dugout and try and get his pitching stuff on, but with the best assumption that Ryan Witt will come back onto the mound. It'll be a 9-1-2 of Bryce Mefford, Ben Pizer, and Theron Perkins as Ryan Witt tries to throw a complete game shutout here at Monroe High School, right in front of his home fans against the Lake Stevens Vikings. Top of the 7th inning coming up, 7-0 Monroe. And we are now back into the top of the 7th inning. Ryan Witt, he has thrown 56 pitches through 6 innings, and doesn't look like he is stopping anytime soon. He's facing off against the 9-hitter Bryce Mefford. Outside, ball 1. Through 7 balls for 9 strikes and 16 pitches for a total of 30 balls, 46 strikes, and 30 balls, 46 strikes, and 76 pitches, not 56 pitches. So 76 pitches, that sounds more about right. The 1-0 pitch, strike 1 looking, allowing no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on. The 1-1 swing and a missed strike 2. For a total of no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 8 runners left on. And Ryan ahead of the count on Bryce Mefford, who was 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. The 1-2 pitch. Hard hit ball going into the glove of the shortstop, Andrew Haight. It gets in and out of the glove. He picks it up, throws to first, and is not in time. Bryce Mefford. They're going to say that is an infield single. It doesn't look like the scoreboard at left field is saying it's anything, really. They don't know. They can't tell if it was an error or a single. But because I'm nice, I'm going to say it's a single. And so it'll be the 3rd hit for the Lake Stevens Vikings. Bryce at first base to start off the 7th. He'll go back to the top of the order for Ben Pizer, who is 0 for 2. First pitch, a strike one looking. Monroe also trying to do what they haven't done in almost 2 weeks. Or you could say almost 3 weeks, and that is win a ball game. The 0-1 pitch outside, ball one. As is April 6th. And April 6th is on a Friday. I'm thinking about this way too much. The 1-1. Fly ball. That one leaning towards foul territory. Connor Spaulding running to make the catch. He makes it on the third base foul line for the first out in the top of the 7th inning. Brings out Theron Perkins, who is 1 for 2 with the triple in the third. Theron Perkins, apart from the triple that he hit on the first pitch, he also hit a fly ball to the left on the first pitch and also struck out on 3 pitches in the 5th inning. First pitch, strike one looking. And Ryan, a timeout by Theron before Ryan is able to throw the pitch. Trying to get Ryan off guard here. And Ryan Witt trying to get a couple pretty good starts before he moves to Everett Community College next season. The 0-1 pitch, a fly ball, that is out foul above the Monroe dugout along the first base line. And Ryan is ahead of the count, 0-2 count. And Ryan looking over at first base. And the 0-2 pitch, a hard hit ball going into left center. Back goes Klein. He is looking for it. It goes over his head. Bryce is running around second. Now he's going to run around third. Bryce is going to score. Theron Perkins is going to go to third. The throw to third is not in time. It's an RBI triple. The second triple of the afternoon by Theron Perkins. It'll score Bryce from first. And no more complete game shutout. No more complete game shutout for Ryan Witt as a run will score Bryce Mefford. With his 4th run of the year on his 2nd hit of the year, Theron Perkins, this is his 10th hit of the year. It's his team-high 3rd triple, and the Vikings get on the board for the first time this afternoon. First pitch to Trey Long upstairs for a ball one. And the 1-0 pitch right down the middle, 1-1 count. And Ryan the 1-1. That'll be a hanging curveball, ball 2 inside. Trey Long, he is 1 for 2 with a single in the 6th. Popped out to the second baseman Morgan Granich with, ironically enough, Theron at third after a triple and got hit in the 1st inning. A hard hit ball, fly ball to left field. Connor Spaulding, he is under it. Theron is going to go, is off to the races. Theron will score. It'll be a sacrifice fly for Trey Long. The bases are empty, and Lake Stevens gets a couple of runs on the board. Theron Perkins, that is his 6th RBI. Trey Long with his 5th RBI. And Theron with his 1st run of the year. That is the first time this year that he has crossed a plate. First pitch to Will Wentz. One hopper to the catcher Keegan Veely for a ball one. And the 1-0. Strike one looking. That one in the top part of the strike zone. And Ryan Witt, although that he probably might not throw a complete, he's not going to throw a complete game shutout. Swing and a missed strike 2 for a 1-2 count. It's still a pretty good performance by Ryan Witt. And Lake Stevens still showing that they have some life in them late in the game. That's pretty good for the Vikings as they face off against a new team in Glacier Peak tomorrow and Friday. And the 1-2 pitch by Ryan, foul ball. Hitting above the strikeout, above the backstop behind home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan still ahead of the count. And Ryan, the windup in the 2-2. Inside, ball 3, full count. And the payoff pitch by Ryan, a curveball. This one gets into fair territory and gets past the glove of a diving Grant Davis. And the Lake Stevens Vikings show that they have still life in them with a 2-out single in the 7th. 3 hits. They had 2 hits in the first 6 innings, and they have 3 hits in this inning alone. And they're going to bring in Christian LaPierre, who's been walked 3 times, all against Ryan Witt, and is 2 for 3 in stolen bases today. First pitch, strike 1 looking. And the windup, the 0-1. And a foul ball that'll hit off the bat and get off the catcher's mask of the catcher, Keegan Veely. Ryan ahead of the count. And Ryan looking to end this game. The 0-2, a 1 hopper to the catcher, Keegan Veely, ball 1. And so my best assumption is that Connor Spauman, who was last week's Wednesday starter, will be the starter for the first game against Jackson. A slow roller. This one going to the second baseman, Greenwich. Throw to first is not in time. It's an infield single for Christian LaPierre. And the Vikings stay alive in the top of the 7th. 4 hits in the 7th inning after getting only 2 in the first 6. And it's a slow roller to the second baseman, Morgan Greenwich. He tries to throw to first. He gets there, but Christian, with his speed, is not able to get him out. And I'll bring up Tanner Lind. And the first pitch from Ryan. Upstairs, ball 1, Veely stepping out of his position, going into the other batter's box, away from the junior southpaw, or the junior left-hander, and looks over at second. And the 1-0. Ball 2 outside. And the 2-0 by Ryan. Strike 1 looking right down the middle. And a timeout by, looks like Monroe. Eric Chartrand, the manager, walking towards the Monroe dugout right in front of the Monroe bleachers. Looking like he said something to the umpire. And the 2-1 pitch inside, ball 3. And Lake Stevens looking like it showing that they have more power than they thought. The 3-1 upstairs, ball 4, bases loaded. And it'll bring up Hunter Zalesko, who was 0 for 2 and got hit. Timeout by Monroe. Are they going to take Ryan Witt out of the game? Yes, they are. And and the Monroe bleachers are giving him an applause for his performance, and rightfully so. He does a really good job in keeping Lake Stevens in check, but unfortunately it doesn't stay for long. And they're going to bring in a new pitcher. And it looks like the new pitcher will be number 8, Connor Spauman, who was supposed to be tomorrow's starter, or if he throws enough pitches, be tomorrow's starter. But let's see how many pitches he throws here. We'll be right back. It'll be the top of the 7th inning. 2 outs and the bases loaded. Monroe leading Lake Stevens by the score of 7-2. And we are now back into the top of the 7th inning. Lake Stevens, they are threatening. They've already scored 2 runs, and they're threatening to get more with the bases loaded. And the first pitch is a ball 1 inside from Connor Spauman to Hunter Zalesko. And the 1-0 pitch, a strike 1 looking. Ryan Witt, 6 2/3, 6 hits, currently 2 earned runs, 5 walks and 4 strikeouts on 105 pitches. And the swing and a miss, strike 2, a 1-2 count. Connor Spauman coming into this game, he is 1-1 with an ERA of 2.47. 11 and a third innings, walking 6, striking out 10. The 1-2 pitch, ball 2. 11 and a third innings pitched, 14 hits, allowing 4 earned runs, walking 6, striking out 10. And the 2-2 by Connor. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And for the first time In almost 2 weeks, the Monroe Bearcats win a ball game. They snap a 5-game losing streak. Final score, Lake Stevens 2, Monroe 7. Ryan Witt gets the winning pitcher honor. He is 4-0, a team-leading 4-0 with 4 wins, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts on 105 pitches. It only took 5 pitches for Connor Spaulding to finish that up. And Monroe moves up to a record of 9-7, and their conference record is back up to a 500 record of 5-5. Lake Stevens, the losing pitcher for them is Justin Troya, who is now back down to a 500 record of 2 wins and 2 losses. And their record back up to a 500 record overall, both in overall and in conference play. Just conference play. They have a 6-8 overall record, 6 wins and 8 losses, and a conference record, a 500 record of 5 wins and 5 losses in conference play. For the Lake Stevens Vikings, they'll be playing against the Glacier Peak Grizzlies tomorrow on April 25th at Lake Stevens High School. Will Wentz is expected to pitch in that game, while the Monroe Bearcats will play on the road against Jackson, in which they will probably start against Connor Spaulding, and it looks like that's a pretty good possibility because he's only thrown 5 pitches today. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see, will we? My name is Payne Patchett. You've been listening to Lake Stevens Vikings Varsity Baseball, and we'll see you tomorrow, April 25th, 2018, when the Lake Stevens Vikings play their first conference game against the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Good night, everybody.